Hello, culinary arts students. What's up? Welcome back to class. Chef Fritz here, kicking off another day in our first week of the semester, and glad to have you here. If you're new to the class because you just maybe did a schedule change, welcome. And today we're going to be covering uh, from an applied manner, you'll be working on the course orientation quiz, and then as well, our focus, our learning target for this entire week and next is really the course overview. I and we will learn about course engagement and learning expectations. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the sign out procedures for the classroom, and we're going to review additional course materials and learning expectations, and I'm going to talk a little bit about me, and then I'm going to give you time to wrap up the class period with the course orientation quiz. So let's go ahead and get started. In terms of signing out for the classroom, this is the only way that you should be leaving the room. You first will ask permission of myself or the substitute teacher that's here, and you'll just ask, can I go to the bathroom, or can I go to the den, or can I go to the office to pick up a note, to take a different bus, or whatever it might be. And so you'll ask permission. We'll say yes most of the time. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and use your personal device. So you're going to take your personal device, just like mine right here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my camera. I'm going to scan the QR code just as you see it on the screen. So the QR code is located just to the back side of my desk on the wall.
Right here.
And so you're going to see when you
QR code's
scan
right here.
the QR code, you're going to get this sign out form. And there's just two simple questions, okay? Really straightforward. You're going to sign out. You're going to type in your name, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that, all right? And then I'm going to type in that I am going to the men's restroom, and I'm going to hit submit, all right? Simple enough. Then you're going to get this response right here, okay? And it says sign out form. And what it says on the screen is, thank you for completing the class sign out form. This image will serve as your pass when you leave A14. Please keep this image open on your screen if you are asked to show a pass from a BGHS staff member.
I get to talk
Mr. Fritz. So this is your pass, okay? When you sign out of the classroom, you have between 5 and 10 minutes. In terms of restroom use, you'll use the men's or women's restroom right here in the A wing, so long as they're serviceable. Or you'll use the water fountain right here outside in the A wing. Or you'll go straight ahead if you need to use a water bottle filling station. You'll go two more intersections down, straight down the hallway, heading east. And right before you get to that last intersection where you exit the building, there's a water bottle filling station on your left-hand side. So you'll also, again, need to be back into the classroom within 5 or so minutes. That's the expectation. This survey, I have it opened on a screen and from a Google sheet, and I can see it's time-stamped automatically, so I know how long you've been gone. So all that information is automatically recorded, your name, where you're headed, and how long you've been gone for. So you have a brief amount of time to be gone after you've received permission, and you come on back, and you don't have to sign in at that point, because I see when you came in, and I can reconcile that with when you signed out. So you can also sign out if you don't have a personal device. I know most students do, but if you don't have one, you can sign out under the Classwork tab in Google Classroom right at the top of the screen, just as you can see here. It says Classroom Sign Out Form. You can sign out, click on the Google form, and complete that as well via Google Classroom. Okay, the questions, as I said, they look like this. It says type your first and last name, and then you simply select one of the boxes of your location and hit submit. And then again, just to reinforce, it's automatically time-stamped, and you need to be back within 5 or 10 minutes of your departure. The other system that I have in place is you guys will receive at the beginning of the semester one piece of paper that has 6 passes. You don't need to cut this up. You just leave it whole. When you need to go to the restroom, you'll first get my initial on one of the passes. So if you've come to me for the first time, like a week from now, and you need to go to the restroom, I'll simply initial uniquely in the first class pass, okay? You'll receive a total of 6 times that you can leave the classroom for the entire semester, okay? You'll also note right here at the bottom, it says this: You receive 6 class passes for the semester. Use them wisely. When they are gone, they are gone. Lost or stolen passes will not be replaced. Okay? Keep them in a safe place. Passes cannot be shared or given to another student. Students who give or receive another student's pass will lose the privilege of using passes for the remainder of the semester. Unused passes can be turned in at the end of the semester for a raffle drawing. So you'll simply have me initial or the sub initial in one of these squares, and you'll take the piece of paper back. I'm going to distribute these right now, and you're going to go ahead and write your name in pen up in the top right hand corner, okay, right up here. And then you're going to put this in a safe place. You want to put it in a place that you can access whenever you're in this class. So if it's in your backpack pocket, or if it's in a binder or notebook that you're always going to have during this class, that's the safest place to store this. And then once you receive permission, I'll initial this, and then you can use the QR code to sign out. I need the QR code to happen from a safety perspective. I need to be able to account for every student that's not in the classroom if you're not here. And so that's why we do the QR code on top of having the class pass initialed by the teacher. Okay, so that's just the standard procedure for signing out of the Culinary Arts Program classroom space. The other system that I want to share with you, there's a notification called Report It. It's hanging on the front of the entrance of the classroom. There's a link here in my lecture as well that you can get to this reporting system. If you see or experience bullying, intimidation, harassment, you observe weapons, drugs, or other paraphernalia here on campus and you believe it's unsafe, I want to encourage you, we as a staff here at Battle Ground High School want to encourage you to report it. It is anonymous. You can download the app at the App Store called Report It by Vector Solutions, or you can simply scan the code that's on the flyers that are hanging throughout the school. If you have questions about this, do not hesitate to ask me. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about myself and why I'm here. So I'm not trying to be braggadocious. I think it's important for you to know why your teachers are here, how they've gotten here, what's their journey, what qualifies them to be here teaching you. You hear this saying a lot out there on the street. If you're a teacher, you teach it because you don't know how to do it. I'm a believer from my experience that I've done it for a long time in terms of cooking as a career, and now I'm sharing that knowledge and information and experience with you. I've also taught and administrated culinary arts programs throughout the West, and I want to share just a little bit about that so you can understand what qualifies me to be here as your teacher this semester. So here's some pictures. Here's one of like Ruth Reichel. She's a well-known, she was the New York Times food, oh gosh, not stylist, food. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank of the word that I'm looking for. But she would go out and not editor, but she would go out and taste incognito, taste the premium restaurants in Manhattan, taste their food and do the reviews. Critic. She was the food critic for the New York Times, and we did an event and had her as a keynote when we opened the Cascade Culinary Institute in Bend. In the new facility there. There I am as the director and executive chef at the Cascade Culinary Institute. Here I am. I'm receiving a National Sustainability Award down in New Orleans for the Cascade Culinary Institute. Here I am. This is a picture of me. There was in a Spokane newspaper of me cooking and doing a demonstration in Spokane many years ago. And so been around a while in culinary arts education and more importantly in the industry. And that's really what's qualified me to be here. But more importantly, I want you to know a little bit about me. So here's my crew, my family. We've got the picture on the right side of the screen is my oldest daughter. She's now 22. This picture is from 2019. She's 22. Her name is Angel. My other daughter, Megan, she's now 19 in the 2023-24 school year. And then Matthew, my son, a little bit more grown up than this picture. He's now 16. He goes to school here at Battle Ground High School. My girls graduated from Skyview, Columbia River. I don't know why. Matthew right now goes to Battle Ground and commutes in with me we live down over in Salmon Creek, Felida area, and he commutes in with me, and he's very involved in ROTC. My oldest wants to be a doctor, so she's going on to med school next year. Megan, my middle, she is planning on being an elementary school teacher. and then Matthew wants to be a pilot, a commercial pilot. And so my girls right now both work in the hospitality industry at Starbucks, and they're getting their education paid for them at Arizona State University by Starbucks. And they'll both transition out of that degree, that bachelor's degree, here in the next year. Angel will move on to med school. We're not sure exactly yet where she's going to go. And then Megan is probably going to go on to a master's degree in education, just like I did. So there we are. We got married in 2019 under the St. John's Bridge in St. John's, Oregon. There's my wife, Gretchen, and my daughter. I was doing a catering job for some friends down in Oregon. It was a big vanilla truffle sous vide lobster tail that we did. These nice 3.5 pound lobster. They were huge. Fun event that I did when I was personal chefing over these past years. There we are at a Marrakesh restaurant, all of us. And there's Gretchen and I. And then our whole crew, she's got 2 kids too. They're a little bit older. And Max and his wife live here in town and in Ridgefield. And my bonus daughter, Macy, she's sort of traveling the world doing work in social media, marketing space, sort of freelance. So love my family. And that's why I share about them with you. They're really the reason for my existence. I just cherish them. Super blessed by my crew. So let's talk about my career really quickly here. Don't want to go into intricate detail, but I'll give you a little taste of my background and what qualifies me to be here teaching you. So I was born in Miami, grew up in Bellevue, Washington. When I was in 3rd grade, I took a class at Forest Park in Everett, and they taught how to make potato soup, crudité, which is raw vegetables with a dipping sauce, and quiche Lorraine. I'll never forget it. And sort of put a seed in my heart. I was like, man, I like cooking. And then by the time I was 14, I decided to interview for a job. Just like many of you, I love my connection with you all as high school kids is that I noticed I loved cooking. I loved serving people. And so I gravitated towards the restaurant industry. And so I interviewed for a job. The recruiter came to Bellevue High School. They were opening a new Burger King in downtown Bellevue. And I interviewed and got the job. I trained at another store. I was part of the opening team for this new store in Bellevue at age 14. We were getting paid $4.25 an hour back then, no tips or anything.
$4.25 an hour.
It was quite an experience. I worked there for 3 years, but then everything changed. Okay, boom. I got into a fight with another employee right by the salad bar in the dining room, and we both got fired. And so I had moved up. I had been a production lead and then a training coordinator at 16 and a half. I was training all the new employees in the store. I had drank in the Burger King, the BK Kool-Aid for sure. And it was possible that I was just going to have a career in Burger King. But then I got fired. So boom, plans change. But I still knew I wanted to cook. So I had the door open up at a YMCA camp in the San Juan Islands. My brother was a camp counselor and a unit director there. And he said, hey, they need a cook this summer. This was the summer of my sophomore, junior year. And I was like, yeah, okay. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it was junior, senior year. I can't even remember. But I got fired from Burger King, took the new job. And yeah, it was junior, senior, had to have been. And then I started cooking, flipping pancakes. I ran this little place called Homeboys Cafe at nighttime for the staff, making nachos and milkshakes and things like that. And just was getting experience and cooking for like 400 to 500 people a meal, lasagna or spaghetti or pancakes for breakfast or whatever. It was a great experience. And the chef there was my mentor. And he was the first chef I ever worked for. He had retired from Marriott Hotels. He was an executive chef in a Marriott property in New York and retired to the Northwest. And he shared his story with me, and I was super inspired. I was jacked up by the idea of being a chef. And he mailed away for a catalog from the Culinary Institute of America. And basically led me to understand and learn about the premier culinary school in the world. And I didn't know about CIA at the time, but slowly but surely knew that that's where I wanted to go to school. I started cooking at Sizzler. I cooked at Sizzler just in my senior year, last semester of my senior year. I had a good experience there. And then a recruiter showed up. My mom, I had no prospects. I had bad grades in high school. You'll hear more about that in the week ahead. And didn't have a lot of options. Had no school options and had no money to pay for school nonetheless. So my mom called the Army recruiter up, and they showed up in our kitchen one day after school and pitched a culinary career in the Army, which, maybe it's not a culinary career, but it was something. So I, within hours, decided I'm doing it. And he sold me the idea that I could compete in culinary arts competitions and I could do all sorts of fun stuff around the world. And I signed up for 3 years. Back then, it was just I could do a 3-year enlistment. And I took my basic training and AIT, Advanced Individual Training, learning how to cook. Did the cooking school in the Army at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And then I proceeded on to be stationed in Germany. I cooked in Germany, cooked for about 2,000 people a meal, 2,200 or so people a meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then our unit went to Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and sort of in a war zone. A couple guys in my company lost their lives while I was over there. Changed the trajectory of my life entirely. We stopped cooking. I ended up being an ambulance driver, and that just turned everything. It just gave me a new perspective for sure. Cooking in the Army and all the world travel and being able to travel around Europe and everything was awesome. My unit deactivated after we came back from Desert Shield and Desert Storm in Iraq and Saudi Arabia, and we went to Fort Benning, Georgia. And there, for my last 6 months of the military, had an opportunity to compete in an all-Army culinary arts competition. And that's exactly what the recruiter told me I'd have an opportunity to do. And pretty much the bill of sale held true. And the experience that I had in the Army was phenomenal. Changed my life. 3 years, but it moved real fast. And I learned so much about food and cooking and serving people. And then I took that Army college fund and GI Bill
to wrap up,
and that money, it was back then about $65,000 or so. And I went right to culinary school. I literally got out of the Army, and within a week, I was at school at Hyde Park, New York, at the Culinary Institute of America. They have multiple campuses now. Back then, it was just the one in New York. Now they have one in San Antonio, another one in Napa Valley. Beautiful, beautiful campuses. If you ever have an opportunity to check it out. But went to CIA, 2-year associate's degree program in culinary arts. During my internship, I worked for a chef named David Kellaway, a certified master chef back then. Then there was about 48 of them in the nation. Now there's somewhere in the 60s for certified master chefs through the American Culinary Federation. That's the highest certification there is for chefs. I worked for a CMC and just fine dining blew my mind. Learned so much over my 6-month externship. Then I went back to CIA, finished the program, and then I had an opportunity to work for another certified master chef, Ron DeSantis, and I worked in a restaurant called St. Andrew's Cafe. It was the nutrition and healthy cuisine restaurant at the time at the CIA, and I worked there for about 6 months in a postgraduate position. And again, fine dining, premium food, phenomenal experience working for a super awesome chef, but also learning about how to work in a learning environment and how to be in a place where teaching happens. That was pretty inspiring for me. So when I got out of CIA, I went ahead and went right on to Washington State University, Pullman, to get my degree in hospitality business management. Did that 4-year degree. I did it in 2 years because I did summer school classes as well. Moved really fast through that. And right at the end of that, had an opportunity and was invited to stay and teach. I ended up becoming the culinary arts educator for the hospitality program and ended up being there for about 9 years, teaching in the Pullman campus, at the Pullman campus in the hospitality program. And it was just such a formative time for me as a young culinarian, young chef, and learned so much and shared a lot of information with students. And we have here at WSU Vancouver a hospitality program as well. If you want to know more about that, feel free to ask me. From there, decided that I wanted to get into administrating, and this is fast now. I administrated as a director of culinary operations at Johnson & Wales University, now closed, in Denver. I moved up to Colorado State University, started working on my PhD. So when I was at WSU, I not only finished my bachelor's degree in hospitality, but I also did my master's in education. And so I moved on to my PhD at Colorado State University and taught there for a short while. And then we had a third child, Matthew, and decided to move back to Washington and wanted to be closer to family. And I opened Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts, now closed, in Seattle. And then I went over to Bend and opened up a new multi-million-dollar facility for Central Oregon Community College at Cascade Culinary Institute, and was the director and executive chef there for a number of years. And then came over to Portland and administrated the program at the Culinary Arts program at the Art Institute of Portland. But the problem is that program as well closed. And so what happened is a lot of these places were closing in the early 2000s and around 2015 or so, just complete collapse of culinary arts education nationally at the post-secondary level. And I needed shelter. I had 3 kids. I was going through a divorce. They were living with me, and I needed to stabilize. And so I opted to go ahead and move into the high school level of teaching culinary arts. So I took a job, had a buddy call me up and say, hey, would you like to teach at high school, at the high school level? And I was like, wow, shoot, what the heck? I'll try it. And so I was shutting down the Art Institute program. I was transitioning and didn't know what was next. I was doing a bunch of consulting and decided to jump into the high school classroom. I taught at Reynolds High School in Troutdale for a year, and then had the privilege of moving to Battleground for this most recent 5 years. And it has been an absolute adventure. Love being here, love connecting with students, love connecting with industry, and just privileged to be leading the culinary arts program here, but more importantly, really providing a great education that's going to prepare students for the workforce and really give you guys life skills. So I love transitioning life skills, like this one picture here of Emily in the middle. Emily, I had it in the 2019 20 school year, right before COVID kicked off. We came back from COVID. She was my TA. And crazy enough, 2023-24 school year, her sister now is taking my class. It's pretty cool. Having students come in, develop skills for being in the workforce, or just skills to learn how to cook at home is absolutely awesome. I just absolutely enjoy it. And here is the advanced class that I had just right before COVID. They do fundraising. They raise money, sell pies. They do cookie production for career services. They do events for our advisory committee meetings for the district. We do all sorts of multi-course meals. We do a lot of events. And it's around, first, giving them real live experience, but second, raising money for us to do field trips. And so we went to the coast and had a fine dining meal, went to Jacobson Salt, Tillamook Cheese Factory, super fun opportunity in the advanced class. So we've got the Intro to Culinary and Intro to Baking and Pastry courses, and then we've got the Advanced Culinary Arts and Entrepreneurship and Service course. And that course is very non-traditional, very project-based, and we have a blast. And so you can see that in the pictures here. So again, another aspect of what I love so much about working here. Again, giving you guys life skills is super important to me. Being in tune with the diversity of career opportunities in the hospitality industry, giving you credit. 2 credits now are available in the Human Services Career Technical Education pathway that help you with your graduation requirements. Boom, you get to eat in class. I mean, some teachers are like, you can't eat in my room, but this room you can eat, okay? You get to cook and eat it. You get to have fun, build your confidence in the kitchen, work on life skills, soft skills like communication skills, leadership, collaboration, conflict resolution, problem solving. All of that is packaged in this program. And I absolutely love being here to teach it. So that's a little bit about myself. What I'd like you to do now, we got a little bit of time left in class. Go ahead and log into Google Classroom. Let's make sure we wrap up the course orientation quiz If you have questions about it or would like me to reset it because you received a score that is lower than you want, let me know. There's only a couple of assignments for the whole semester that are worth this much. This quiz is worth 50 points because I want you to start off on the right footing and have access to all the necessary systems, Ruby, Remind, Google Classroom, getting you synced up there and ensuring that you're prepared for the rest of the semester. So let's go ahead and engage completing that particular assignment. And if you have any questions, come on up and see me. This concludes this Ed Puzzle, and thanks so much, and I hope you guys have a great day.